call this hearing to order. Frank, are there any deletions or additions to the agenda today?
No, ma'am.
We have one set of minutes to approve from the administrative hearing of April 15th, 2019. Commissioners, if there are no changes, I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. We have 3 proclamations today, but I am not reading all of them. Okay, our first proclamation is Bike to Work Day, May 8th, 2019. Commissioner Justman.
I'd make a motion that we approve the Mesa County Proclamation Bike to Work Day, May 8th, 2019. Whereas Colorado is a premier bicycling state and Mesa County offers some of the most diverse bicycling opportunities. And whereas Mesa County joins a nationwide effort to encourage cycling novices and enthusiasts to experience the fun and freedom of safely riding a bike to work, school, on errands, or for recreation. And whereas the bicycle is a viable and environmentally sound form of transportation, is an excellent form of recreation. And whereas bicycling activities and attraction have a positive impact on Mesa County's economy and tourism industry and stimulate economic development by making the area attractive to businesses and citizens who enjoy outdoor and healthy lifestyles. And whereas creating bicycle-friendly communities has been shown to improve citizens' health, well-being, and quality of life, to boost community spirit, to improve traffic control, and to reduce pollution and congestion. And whereas Healthy Mesa County, along with local governments and other sponsors throughout Mesa County, have scheduled numerous community bicycling activities and promoting bicycling as a healthy leisure activity as well as an environmentally friendly and alternative to the automobiles. And whereas the education of bicycles and motorists as to the proper and safe operation of bicycles is important to ensure the safety and comfort of all users. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Mesa County Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 8th, 2019 as Bike to Work Day in Mesa County. In witness whereof, we hereunto set our hands and cause to be affixed the official seal of Mesa County this 29th day of April, 2019. Mesa County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Rose Puglisi, Commissioner Scott McGinnis, and Commissioner John Justman.
Is there a second?
Sure.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. Here today to accept the proclamation is Kelsey Fife from the Mesa County Public Health Department. Yeah, of course. All right, Kelsey.
All right. Well, I just wanted to thank the commissioners for acknowledging Bike to Work Day and as a whole Bike Month here in the Grand Valley. It's our 8th year of coordinating events around biking as an activity for your health, fun, and transportation. This is my 4th year coming to get the proclamation and the 3rd year of me coordinating all these events with all the partners in our community, and I just appreciate all the support from our community members at the in the municipalities, our local hospitals, the library, and a number of other local partners who care about biking in our community. And thanks again.
Thanks, Kelsey. Will you just tell us again the information for Bike to Work Day?
Oh, of course. I was thinking I should do that when I walked up. So Bike to Work Day, as you said, is on May 8th. We have free breakfasts around the valley for people who are riding to work. They can feel free to stop by. We have one at Grand Junction City Hall. All events are from 6:30 to 9 a.m. One is at the Civic Center Park out in Fruta, and then we also have one by Octopus Coffee on Horizon Drive. And then we have an event at the end of the day, just kind of to wrap up and celebrate the end of Bike to Work Day at Edgewater. And because Bike to Work Day is the most popular event, but we also have 2 other events that we're coordinating. One at the Avalon about mountain biking, and one that's on May 16th, and then May 22nd, we're doing a family-friendly event at Las Colonias just to celebrate biking being for all ages and kind of the end of Bike Month.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Any comments, Commissioner Justman?
Well, thank you for being here this morning. And the Bike to Work usually draws a huge crowd of people out here on the front lawn. So thanks for coming.
Commissioner McGinnis.
Yeah, thank you. And I don't know, I think it brings rain. So
It did last year, right?
Well, last year was, I think, probably the only day we got rain all last year.
Yep.
So thank you very much.
Thanks for being here, Kelsey.
Thank you.
All right. Our next proclamation is Sheriff Fest, May 4th and 5th, 2019, and Commissioner McGinnis will read that into the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the proclamation Sheriff Fest weekend. Whereas Mesa County benefits greatly from all efforts made by community members to serve and help one another. And whereas 32 local churches have chosen to work together in an effort to serve the people of Mesa County in many and various ways. And whereas when citizens and organizations join together, it inspires others to know and serve their neighbors, resulting in a more profound and healthy community. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Board of Mesa County Commissioners hereby proclaims May 4th and 5th, 2019 as Sheriff Fest weekend in Mesa County and encourages all citizens to participate by finding helpful ways to serve their community on Sheriff Fest weekend and throughout the year. In witness whereof, we hereunto set our hands and cause to be affixed the official seal of Mesa County this 29th day of April 2019. Mesa County Board of Commissioners, Chairwoman Rose Puglisi, Commissioner John Justman, and Commissioner Scott.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. Here today to accept the proclamation is Debbie Colby, Director of Outreach at First Presbyterian. Debbie, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I would. Thank you very much. We appreciate so much the commissioners acknowledging the value of this event, and especially in its 12th year. We do have 32 churches this year, but I do want to let you know that that large contingency back there, that is Starbucks.
Oh.
They have decided to join in this effort, and they enjoy doing community service, so they are pairing up with the Sheriff Fest churches this year. And we're working for a couple other businesses to do that next year. So this is exciting for us. So, I did, we always thank you. I did want to just tell you about 2 projects this year, because we always say there are a lot of needs in this valley, and there are. And these 2 projects are gentlemen who have asked for help. And despite the general rule that gentlemen don't ask for help, except maybe for directions, these two men, the first one is 93 years old. He is a World War II Navy veteran, and all he wants is somebody to come pull his weeds. So that may seem like nothing to somebody, but when you're 93, I'm guessing it's something to somebody. So we're working on that one. And the other one, and he wins the age prize. This gentleman is 100 years old. He lives here in the valley, and he wants someone to mow his lawn. So these are the kinds of projects that we have. They range from people who are disabled to people who are truly in need of some help. And we know it's only one weekend, but we hope that that inspires other people to consider helping down the road as well. So thank you very much. I want to give Vicki and Jim just an opportunity to say a few words.
I don't have much more to say than what Debbie did. It is amazing. It's been 12 years, and we've been here the whole 12 years. The needs continue to come in, and we really are, these little elderly people really do depend on ShareFest. So we're hoping to every year get more and more volunteers, because every year we do get more and more requests for help. And like Debbie said, raking, mowing yards, just getting their gardens ready. So we do thank you so much for the proclamation and believing in us.
I also want to thank you for your proclamation of support and just call attention to a shift that's happening in our community. We've been doing ShareFest for 12 years, but here a couple of years back we had a rash of teen suicides, and that affected our community. And I know people think about that, talk about that a lot, but I watch that and work with that at a variety of levels. And what I'm seeing is a shift in attitude in families, churches, businesses, schools, in a variety of ways, where there's just a greater awareness of the people around us, especially the young, and a sense of kindness and concern, compassion for them. ShareFest is an expression of that. It's one of those expressions, but yet we see that affecting attitudes in business and attitudes in government and attitudes in the schools and attitudes in law enforcement and the sheriff's department. And we see the effects of that starting to happen. Crime rates dropping, suicides dropping precipitously. I mean, we went from 7 kids that were killed that successfully committed suicide that one year in one school year to 1 in the next school year. And that downward trend has continued. Drug-related deaths, 50% drop in drug-related deaths in this last year, which is reported, and that's remarkable. So what I'm just trying to encourage us in is just to be aware that to love your neighbor, the kindness, the compassion, the awareness of one another is having an effect at a wide variety of levels, which increases our safety, our security, our productivity, and just the overall blessing of our community, which God is definitely into. He's kind, even sometimes to the wicked and ungrateful. But we thank him for his kindness. We also thank you for your support.
Thank you very much for being here today. This is a wonderful event, and we're always so pleased to be able to support it and get the word out to get more people involved. So thank you. Commissioner Justman.
Thanks for being here today and all the help you do for the community, and I'm certain that it is appreciated by everybody that you help.
Commissioner McGinnis.
Thank you very much for what you do, and I will tell you, a couple weekends ago, kind of along your ShareFest idea, I was going on with some elderly lady, or popped sprinkler was going on. So I said, well, I'll help you. I had an orange reflector on. Of course, I got soaked, and it was kind of cold out. And anyway, I'm wrapping it up. She thought I worked for the subdivision. And she chewed me out one side to the other. I didn't fix it right the first time, and what took me so long to get there this morning? Anyway, I still felt good about it, but again, ma'am, I'm just for traffic, that's all. I don't work here. She didn't listen. She just kept it going, but anyway, we got it fixed, and I felt good, and she got it fixed. So anyway, quite good.
That's the phrase, no good deed goes unpunished.
That's right.
Amen.
Thank you all for being here today, and thank you to the Starbucks folks for showing up too. That's pretty amazing. All right, our next proclamation today, I will read into the record. I move that our board adopt the following Mesa County proclamation for Mental Health Awareness Month, May 2019. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall physical health and emotional well-being, and whereas mental illness will strike 1 in 5 adults in a given year, regardless of age, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, or economic status, and whereas people who have mental illness can recover and lead full productive lives, and whereas an estimated 2/3 of adults and young people who have mental health disorders are not receiving the help they need, and whereas the cost of untreated and mistreated mental illnesses and addictive disorders to businesses, governments, and families grows annually, and whereas the National Mental Health Association and its national partners observe Mental Health Month every May to raise awareness and understanding of mental health and illness. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Mesa County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2019 as Mental Health Awareness Month in Mesa County, Colorado, in order to increase public awareness of mental illness and to promote greater understanding for those who suffer from these disorders. In witness whereof, we hereunto set our hands and cause to be affixed the official seal of Mesa County this 29th day of April 2019, signed by the Mesa County Board of Commissioners, Commissioner Rose Puglisi, Commissioner Scott McGinnis, and Commissioner John Justman. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Here today to accept the proclamation is Andrea Thomas, Executive Director of Voices for Awareness.
Good morning. Voices for Awareness is honored to receive this proclamation for May as Mental Health Awareness Month. We are dedicated to bringing awareness to substance abuse issues, counterfeit drugs, and self-harm suicide, and the stigma related. This mental health proclamation for May is the kickoff to our awareness initiative and will lead into our July event to bring awareness and the stigma related to the forefront in our community. On July 27th of this year, we are holding the first ever Voices for Awareness Conference and the Fight for Awareness at CMU University Plaza. The Voices for Awareness Conference is host to a prestigious panel of guests comprised of lawmakers, state representatives, local and federal agencies, educators, and other professionals from the state of Colorado. This panel will have the opportunity to show their support by hearing the community's concerns and stories of loss to the issues related. Motivational speakers from national organizations will provide us with their knowledge to empower our community with awareness and education to address the epidemic we are facing relating to substance abuse, overdose, and self-harm suicide, not only in our community but nationwide. All available local outreach resources are participating in sharing their resources with attendees. This event is free to the public. The second part of our occasion is the Fight for Awareness. This part of the event is a sanctioned professional boxing match hosted by Rival Boxing Gym of Grand Junction. This Pro-Am event is made possible through generous donations from local businesses and other organizations in Colorado that recognize the need for awareness in our Colorado communities. The fighters come from all over the state of Colorado, and each one is dedicating their match to a loved one lost to substance abuse or suicide. The county commissioners will be receiving their invitations soon. We urge you to attend and make a difference, and we appreciate the proclamation that you granted us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and we'll do everything we can to help promote your events so that the community can be involved as well. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Commissioner Justman.
Thank both of you for being here, and obviously a lot of the work that you do is very much needed in the community, so I'd like to thank you personally for all your help and helping the community.
Thank you for the support.
Commissioner McGinnis.
put a lot of effort into it, and thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
That kind of dedication. Hopefully someday it'll get us ahead of it instead of behind it, but couldn't do it without you, so thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner reports. Commissioner Justman.
Last Monday, I had coffee with Trent Kroll, and we talked about the 521. Also attended the 521 meeting, I believe, on Tuesday. Also went to Rangeley for the Associated Governments of Northwest Colorado, and we had an update on what the University of Utah is doing on their research to find new products or new uses for coal. It was a very interesting topic. And on Thursday, I had an A&G's legislative call, and probably the biggest highlight there was that the family leave thing is probably going to be held over because of problems with some of the people are seeing. Also attended the municipality dinner, and it was a good event, and the Powderhorn people there were talking about the Palisade Plunge along with Palisade, and everybody was pretty excited about the North Fruita Desert for Fruita and the bicycles, so it's a big part of our community. On the BLM Resource Advisory Council, we took a tour of Rabbit Valley on Saturday morning, and in the afternoon went to the Fruita Desert. And I had North Fruita Desert where the bicyclers are. I hadn't been there in 15 or 20 years, and there was a huge amount of people out there, and both areas the BLM is looking at in Rabbit Valley, started to charge for the camping permits and close some areas that need to be closed perhaps, and in addition to creating some more campgrounds. And in the North Fruita Desert, they have one campground where you pay, but there must have been at least 3 or 4 to 5 more uncontrolled campgrounds, and it was a huge amount of people out there, and they're talking about perhaps putting in another campground or 2 where you have to pay and use the money to improve the area. They're also talking about down a little bit longer term is some kind of a bicycle, like a track for competition. And also attended the Mesa County Cattlemen's Banquet Saturday evening, and it was a very good event. And they had some nice prizes, but I didn't win any of them. The people that needed them, I guess, won, right, Patrick?
I hope so.
So that was my week.
Thank you, Commissioner Justman. Commissioner McGinnis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Attended since we didn't have a meeting last week, just briefly on the week before, the Energy Symposium and Rifle. That was very helpful. A lot of interesting discussions, and anyway, it was well worth it this year as it is every year, although I'm concerned that in the future we're going to have less sponsors for it. As we all know, Alberta's laid off people, Sirius has laid off people. The majority in the State House is pushing forward with what I think is an elimination of oil and gas, at least to the extent they can eliminate it. And we're going to begin to feel it here, and I thought of that in the Energy Symposium when I looked at their program, and the sponsors of their program, and it's a well-put-on organization, event, but if we don't have sponsors, and that's the kind of thing, whether it's high school sports or all kinds of different things where they help on our community, the jobs and so on and so forth. We're gonna start feeling the impact, and we already have. Sirius, when they talked about they did a layoff, and they talked about, hey, this is the regulations now coming forward to put us in an unknown situation, and we can't take the risk, et cetera. I'm just summarizing my perception of that article. But at any rate, I had a number of meetings with constituents both weeks, and that'd be my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner McGinnis. I was out last week, but I was working a little bit with Commissioner Kirkmeyer from Weld County on the oil and gas measure. That will not be going forward this year, ballot question on oil and gas, but potentially in 2020. And we're working with the oil and gas industry to see what we can do to have more of a plan going forward on how to address these issues. But there will be impacts statewide, and they'll be big, and they'll hit us very quickly and hard. So very unfortunate. I'm also working on a summit with Rio Blanco and Garfield County, and then the Utah Energy Office, and potentially the Utah governor and then the Wyoming governor to move forward with our exporting natural gas resources and marketing those resources together. And so we have an event on May 30th in Salt Lake City, and so I was working on the planning for that event. And that's the end of my report. The consent agenda is intended to allow the board to spend its time on more complex items. These items are generally perceived as non-controversial and can be approved by a single motion. The public or board members may ask that an item be removed from the consent agenda for individual consideration. Today we have 8 items on the consent agenda. The first item is to authorize the purchasing director to approve the placement of a purchase order with Suncor Energy USA Inc. for the purchase of liquid bituminous asphalt for the Mesa County Department of Transportation in an amount not to exceed $262,108.06. The second item is to authorize the purchasing director to approve the placement of a purchase order with Perma Green Hydro Seeding Inc. for the purchase of a self-contained hydro seeding unit for the solid waste management in the amount of $80,000. The third item is to authorize the purchasing director to approve the placement of a purchase order with Midwest Biosystems for the purchase of Aeromast PT-170 compost turner for the solid waste management compost facility in the amount of $88,825. The fourth item is to authorize the chair to sign an amended memorandum of understanding between the City of Grand Junction and Mesa County for the Orchard Mesa Road Improvement Project from Normandy to 29 Road. Fifth item is to approve an agreement between Mesa County and Old Castle Southwest Group, Inc., doing business as United Companies of Mesa County for the Orchard Avenue Normandy to 29 Road Improvement Project in an amount of $2,115,282.65 and authorize the chair to sign. The sixth item is to appoint Sherry Taylor to the Mesa County Local Workforce Development Board for a term of 3 years ending on April 1st, 2022. The seventh item is to approve a second amendment to the grant agreement between Mesa County Government and the State of Colorado Department of Local Affairs in the amount of $252,900 for the second year pass-through funding to Housing Resources of Western Colorado for the ongoing single-family owner-occupied rehabilitation program and authorize the chair to sign. And the eighth item is to approve a second amendment to the professional services contract between Mesa County and Housing Resources of Western Colorado for the Community Development Block Grant for the single-family owner-occupied rehabilitation program in the amount of $252,900 and authorize the chair to sign. Commissioners, do you want to remove any of these items from the consent agenda to individual?
I'd like to remove number 4 and number 5.
Okay. All right. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to remove any item from the consent agenda to individual? Okay. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to, first I would entertain a motion to move items 4 and 5 to individual consideration agenda as items 1 and 2.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second? All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. And then I need a motion to approve the 6 remaining items on the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the remaining items on the consent agenda as presented.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, all in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, so our first item, and they seem related, so maybe Scott can talk about both of these together. The first item is to authorize the chair to sign an amended memorandum of understanding between the City of Grand Junction and Mesa County for the Orchard Avenue Road Improvement Project from Normandy to 29 Road. The second item is to approve an agreement between Mesa County and Old Castle Southwest Group, doing business as United Companies of Mesa County for the Orchard Avenue Normandy to 29 Road Improvement Project in the amount of $2,115,282.65.
Well, maybe I can cut us to the chase here. So what were the amendments?
Do I need to introduce myself again?
Please.
Okay, Scott May, Director of Engineering for Mesa County. Pardon me, I've got allergies this morning. It's great fun. So what was amended was we entered an agreement with the city just based on our engineer's estimate. And so the actual numbers that you see in here are a direct relation to what was actually bid. So the stuff that is amended in here is actual cost based on our bid from United.
So did we amend at all the share split?
No.
In cost? Did
Still,
we amend anything else of substance in there?
No. So it's still a 50-50 split except for some They're doing all the sewer and water themselves, because that's city sewer and water. And then they had already done some sidewalk work out there, so they got that already credited to their account. But it is a 50-50 split, and it's just based on the actual bid numbers now.
I mean, they got to credit their account, so we're still paying for half the sidewalks?
No, they had already done that section of sidewalk.
Okay, and then is that Prosigo out there that,
Yes.
all right. And then, so, another question. Obviously, the number 5 is related to that. Just real briefly, tell me what the $2 million is for, when that proceeds, what we're doing with that $2 million.
So
Which means $4 million because we're throwing in 50?
No, the reason that it's $2 million and the whole thing is showing up in this is because Mesa County is running that contract. So to see the actual split, you would have to look at the MOU for the 50-50. So that $2 million, it's 2.115 million is the actual cost to do that. So that is complete street redo, including sewer, water, irrigation, sidewalk, curb and gutter. We're widening it to a 3-lane section, so that for the complete street redo from Normandy to 29 Road, that's the total cost. And the reason that it all shows up in there is because Mesa County is running that project. So we're the construction managers, so to speak, but we will be reimbursed from the city for their half.
Okay, and is the city plan on annexing that area?
I don't know.
Trent, just introduce yourself for the record, please.
You bet. Trent Prohl, City of Grand Junction Public Works Director. So in regards to annexations, that has not been contemplated here at this point. Mesa County has everything on the north with the exception of one property on this 0.4 of a mile section, and then the City of Grand Junction has everything on the south. So anyway, but at this point we are not proposing that we annex that area as part of this project. As the area redevelops or underneath the Prosigo agreement, we'd be looking at I don't know, we'll reconsider that when we look at the Prosigo agreement later on here during the comp plan process.
Just so you know, I'm losing my patience on doing improvements, only to then have the city follow up behind and do an annexation. So,
yeah. So
in other words, I don't want to be paying for your improvements.
Okay, this is one that's been on the books since I started here around 24 years ago, and it's always been a project that's been a few years out. It was intended to be a partnership between the city and the county, with the county, with the two entities sharing the costs evenly, with the exception of the water and the sewer, which our respective enterprise funds are going to pick up the tab for that element of work.
And so that in my final question, I appreciate you testifying. My final question is, so in the recent election where the city's proposal to increase sales tax or whatever for streets went down, so how does the failure of that impact your commitment to funds for this?
So our commitment for funds for this, obviously the water and sewer are paid for by their own enterprise funds. The city is paying for their share of this project with transportation capacity payments or transportation impact fees that had already been accumulated specifically for this project. So the passage of, or the non-passage of the quarter-cent sales tax there under 2A, those were funds that were proposed to go for future transportation impact fee projects, such as widening, say, of F.5 road or 23 road or 26 road, 26 and a half, a myriad of streets around the community. And so we just won't be able to address those as aggressively as we would have had that passed.
And then one final question. So I understand the city tonight's going to be considering increasing fees for development of properties, and that in the past, apparently, they had the fee. Is it TIF fee or TIP fee? What's the acronym?
So with the City of Grand Junction, there's a transportation impact fee,
right.
And that's what it's more commonly known as. Within the city, we call them a transportation capacity payment, is what we've also referred them to, and we use those terms interchangeably. You guys and Palisade and Fruita and most communities just refer to them as transportation impact fees.
Okay, so my understanding is that change one looks to me to be a pretty dramatic increase. Number one, and number two, in the past, you have that fee, but you also, then you did street improvements, the city did. Now you're increasing the fee exponentially, I think. And then on top of it, you're now shifting the street improvements to developer. Is that correct?
So we are increasing the fee, but as far as the elements of work that the developer has to do on adjacent frontages, it is only in regards to what we call safety improvements. And their safety improvements, say like a left turn lane or a right turn decel lane, that only benefits that particular development. That is the only element that we're proposing that the developer take on, as opposed to leaving the city with those improvements to construct. We had talked about them doing also half street improvements. So whatever was adjacent to the development, if it happened to be on a collector or arterial road, that they would be responsible for the half street or so on the side of the property. But we are not proposing that here at this point. Only the specific safety improvements, say like for a left turn lane, that only benefits their development. If it benefits two properties, say like out on 25 Road at F and a quarter Road, that's one that we would still pay for, as it benefits properties on the north side and separate properties on the south side.
Your information is helpful. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner McGinnis. Any further questions?
No.
No. Okay. Thank you all for being here today. With that, Commissioner McGinnis, do you have any further questions or comments?
I don't, and if it's all right with the chair, I move both 4 and 5 simultaneously in one motion.
That would be great.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. We have no further items needing individual consideration. We have no briefing items. Do we have any unscheduled business to come before this board? Seeing none, this hearing is adjourned. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going to reopen. We have an executive session, sorry, I totally missed that, to receive legal advice on specific questions regarding procedures for TABOR refunds concerning contract terms in the proposed agreement with the Federal Mineral Lease District and concerning the rules governing the county in connection with annexations, all as authorized by CRS Section 24-6-4024B. Who has that motion? Commissioner McGinnis.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I move to go into executive session. It's April 29, 2019 at 9:40. We are here at a regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners, which has been properly noticed. I move that the Board, which I've just done, move the Board of Commissioners enter into an executive session for the sole purpose of conferring with the county attorney to receive legal advice on specific questions concerning procedures for TABOR refunds and concerning contract terms. The proposed agreement with the Federal Mineral Lease District is authorized by CRS Section 24-6-4024B.
Is there?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
The script, the motion that Commissioner McGinnis read does not include the third item that is part of the posted agendas. I apologize for that.
What would that be?
If you
the
want
annexations.
to amend your motion. If you look at number executive session on the bottom of the agenda.
Okay, so I would let me just so I would amend the motion, and I move for the purpose of it is for the sole purpose of conferring with the county attorney to receive legal advice on specific questions. Number 1, TABOR refunds. Number 2, contract terms and proposed agreement with the Federal Mineral Lease Act is authorized by CRS Section 24-6-4024B, and then number 3 would be the concerning rules governing the county in connection with annexations. It all is authorized by CRS, same section 24-6-4024B.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Commissioners. We will not be returning to this room. Thank you.